Good evening, everyone, and welcome to CoSM's October Full Moon Ceremony. I'm Alexis Batty, coming to you live from the Great Hall in Entheon, Sanctuary of Visionary Art. How are we feeling out there? All righty then. Wonderful. Tonight, we gather beneath the radiant light of the full moon to celebrate CoSM's theme of the month, nature mysticism, our deep spiritual connection to the living world. The moon's glow reminds us that every stone, stream, and breath of wind carries divine intelligence. Through art, music, and shared experience, we honor the sacred presence that flows through all of nature and within ourselves. Whether you're here in person or tuning in online, we're so grateful to share it this evening together in community and intention. So to begin our night, it's a true privilege to introduce the creative visionaries who shaped this community and its mission. So please join me in giving a warm welcome to the founders of CoSM, Alex Gray and Allyson Gray. Let's hear it.
Wow.
Wow, thank you so much. What an honor. What an incredible honor to see you all, and thank you for being here at the 284th in a consecutive and unbroken chain of full moon ceremonies that we have been having since January of 2003. Yeah. And what do you have to say about it? 284.
Yeah. Well, it seemed like, the full moon, it's such a perfect symbol for us, Chapel of Sacred Mirrors, because the moon is actually reflecting, it's a mirror. It's reflecting a greater light, just as each of us, as sacred mirrors, would be reflecting the greater light of spirit. So that seemed like a perfect metaphor. And as well, when we, look up at the moon, we recover the wonder that is, the part of our souls that is not so troubled, that is actually feeling its unity and connectedness to the earth, the oneness, and a sense of reverence for life. And so...
And connectedness to everybody on the planet, because within 24 hours, we're all experiencing the full moon, everyone on Earth. And also, well, why do we say 284? Why do we keep counting? Because this gives us, a reference to the place and time that we're sharing here together. This is a group that will probably never assemble just exactly like this ever again. So it is a very special moment, and we use that number to sort of give some significance to the night. And so we add the number 2, 8, and 4, and we come up with, TJ is so on top of this, to come up with the number 5, which is the number of the human, the 2 arms, the 2 legs, and the head. It's also the number of the pentagram. So it's a star. We're stars. We're all stars tonight. And we're, and we're pentagrams. And 5 fingers. What else?
5 toes.
5 toes.
But
yeah.
I like to think about the shape, as an artist, because each one of the arms of the perfect star is cut in a golden ratio. So we have the golden ratio, which is spread throughout nature and certainly is keyed into all of us. And it's part of that number 5. So
tonight is number 5, and we're all enjoying the stardom of number 5, the great human night of humanity. And we'll start by telling you a little bit about the origin of CoSM.
Yeah, like what we're doing here.
Yeah.
Like,
How did
how
this-
many people have never been to a full moon ceremony yet?
Okay.
Okay.
Well, how many have been to a full moon ceremony? Okay.
Okay.
And how many people brought somebody new and they've been here before? Woo, gold stars to all of you guys,
you.
right on their
Thank you.
forehead. But the thing is, we started it, there we are, celebrating the full moon here at CoSM, but we started the full moon ceremonies in our home in Brooklyn in 2003, January of 2003. We have a picture of that.
Yeah.
Next slide.
Oh, I probably
Oh, we got to do
need
that.
to advance it here.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
This shows.
All right, so
this,
there we are.
This
There's
shows
Alex
our.
Stark. Yeah.
Alex Stark was
Yeah.
the shaman that suggested to us that we should start a full moon ceremony back in 2003.
For what purpose?
Well, for gathering people, because we kept talking about wanting to build this chapel of sacred mirrors, and we had no idea how to do that, you know. And he'd heard us for years talking about this, and he said, Alex and Allyson, you need a community to build a sacred space. You know, the independent artist can't really do that. You need a
So
community.
he was an architect. He happened to be a Yale architect as well as a shaman. And he built us the first little model. You can see it over there on the left. Alex took the picture. You can see him in the mirror there. And he built us the little model, and then he started the full moon ceremonies with us in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
In our loft. And there we are.
Yeah.
And I always like to credit Rosie with this picture because she is not in the picture. And she was at the full moon, so she must have taken the picture. And there we were, doing the first full moon.
That's
And-
right.
Yeah.
And
And
Rosie
Frank-
is here tonight with Mike
Yay,
there.
yay,
Going to be
yay.
doing the sand mandala later.
Yay.
Thank you, Rosie. So, so we've been at this for 21 years or 22 years now.
Over 22 years
and,
now. Yep.
So it did have a phase when we were in the city from 2004 to 2009.
That's right.
And so
There we
that's
are,
where
celebrating.
all kinds of
On
celebrations started
27th
up.
Street, we had a place. It was a practice place because it was a rental. And, you know, the mission of CoSM is to build an enduring sanctuary of visionary art to uplift a global community. So, you know, you can't build anything enduring in a rental. That's what we learned. Because after 5 years, your lease is over and you better find a place to build, to really build. We built that place from scratch, from I-beams, you know. We put everything into it, but then, you know, we had a community. We had a really developed community, and some people who are here, like I saw Brian creep through. There's Brian. He was here. You know, he was with us in the city. He's with us here now. So we have some people who've stayed with us all this time, and so we want to tell you about Entheon. Entheon is, you know, the sanctuary of visionary art that we always intended. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
And it is the product of 22 years of community getting together and helping to do this. You know, so we don't really quite understand how it happens, actually. But just,
Well, it's the
just
inevitable
like,
consequence
just
of
like
love.
Alex Stark said, you know, the community is helping to make it happen. And yes,
The inevitable consequence of love is the building of a temple, because when you're loved, you know, we have love. We've had love for 50 years. But when we grow to love everybody, all have so many friends, and then you can get together like every month and see some of your friends, and it's really a tremendous treat. So yeah.
this is the idea that we want to build around this building. Now, this is a functional temple space already, but if we are able to complete this building and to make a sculpture that points to transcendent unity, that is one of the aspects, one of the chief aspects that people have when they have a psychedelic experience or when they have a mystical experience of any kind, is they recover their oneness with creation. And this is a symbolism to say that we're all connected, you know. And so there's special aspects of this. This is the front door, creating a better world. You can see this kind of like primordial male and female return to the garden to try to create a better world. They're
Have
both
paintbrushes
artists.
in their hands. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there's corner angels that are pointing to the cardinal directions on the building. The faces have a cosmic eye and a kind of angel of the creative imagination that connects the cosmic eye of the creator with the human eye down below.
And with a symbol of 30 different traditions,
Yeah.
spiritual traditions.
The idea is that the building is one head with 30 faces. And Allyson's special secret language there is...
It was my opening to the sacred. I was not a spiritual person, and one day, when I was 19 and I tripped in a dark room by myself, I saw secret writing, and so and a voice said to me, an inner voice said to me, this is what some people call God, and that was to say that everything comes through language, and sacred thought and sacred communication comes through symbols. Like all the mouth noises that I'm making right now. They're all symbols.
That's right. So as artists, we're symbol makers.
Yeah.
And the steeplehead here on top of the building is a symbol of the people of the four directions coming together in visionary oneness. And it's the only actual windows in Entheon, is looking out the third eyes of the steeplehead. It's kind of scary up there, but it's kind of cool. Yeah.
This is the back patio. If you've walked all the way around, you see the soul birds are there.
Yeah, soul birds are kind of like this symbol of the creative imagination. They're a human-animal hybrid.
And the thing is, we'll go back just one more. Just go back for 1 second. What we really hoping to, by showing this to you, and we show it every month, is to vision it into being with us. See, we want to vision this completion with our community. And the more we look at it, and the more we divine that it is real. It is real, and it's in the future. We can make it happen.
Yeah, that's the only way that we can figure that this has happened, because we've just continued to tell people that, hey, here's what we want to have happen. And then
this is our
weirdly,
intention.
It starts to happen.
This is our intention, and if you have an intention, we all hope you'll be thinking tonight about your own personal intention as well. It's one of the reasons we get together, is to visit with our intention and see how we can make it a reality. But when you share your intention inspiringly with people who support you, people who love you, like your community, it makes it real, it makes it happen, it moves it forward. Month by month, you can take steps to move it forward, and we're moving this project forward. Every month we have new developments about how we're going to complete the building. And this is a drawing, a diagram of the panelization of the sculptures.
An amazing engineer named Dane Barnes has been working for months on designing the engineering for holding those heads onto the building, because it's a mighty task, and a kind of crazy idea how you're going to do it. But this guy knows. This guy knows how, and this is the steel undergirding of the concrete faces.
I like to think of it as the armature. If you're a sculptor, you know that you need an armature to hold up the arms of your figure or whatever you're using. This is the armature of the sculptural building.
So it is completely possible to do this, we're discovering. We don't know yet how much it's going to cost.
We're still waiting for those numbers.
We're waiting for the contractors to come up with their estimates, But this guy who's the professional, been doing this kind of work for 40 years.
In New York City.
He knows the contractors who could do this. And he's having 5 of his friends who are amazing contractors come and do the estimates. So it's going to be maybe another month or something, but we should have estimates soon.
Maybe
So-
even by next month, we'll be able to tell you. Because they're working on it. They come visit, and they're looking at the building, so it's happening. Yeah. Now,
Oh.
you have your little...
Okay, I have to share this because, you know, it's like the design's been there for, you know, like a dozen years or something. We've been working on this idea. But then, like a couple years ago, I came across this quote by Plotinus, and it just he's a 4th century mystic. So it says, since we look towards the outside, away from the point at which we are all joined together, we're unaware of the fact that we are one. We are like faces turned toward the outside, but attached on the inside to one single head. If we could turn around, then all at once we could see God, ourselves, the all.
Isn't that perfect?
What?
That's amazing.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's because the building's called Entheon, you know, a place to discover the divine within.
Now
So
take
anyway.
a good look at this, and we're going to look at the next slide. Go. Oh no, this was the way it looks when we project it onto the building, but this is the way it looks when there's nothing on the building. I'm just saying. Just saying. It's beautiful. We love it. Listen. We got this far. It took many years to get to this, believe me. This is actually wrapped around an 1882 carriage house. It used to be a carriage house for the Gray House, which was built in 1862. So this is where we are so far. This is where we are. But this I call the call to action. Because if we don't put the sculptures on, this is what we have. But if we do, next slide. I think we have it. No, we don't have that. But we have that gorgeous building. But nature mysticism is very much a part of it, because when we were in the city, we were on 27th Street between 10th and 11th Avenue. And every night, every morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, when we came out and all the clubs were, you know, wild and people were still dancing, we would think to ourselves, I mean, this is what came into my head, was that we didn't belong there. That wasn't the place. As much as I loved it and I was so appreciative to have it as the living brochure for what we were going to do, and we used to come, and Brian used to do CoSM Fire with us, and we spun fire in the country once a year. We would go to another place, Center for Symbolic Studies, and hold our fire circle there, an all-night celebration, an all-night activity, and knowing that what we really needed to do is to be in nature. So now we're going to talk about nature mysticism, and we're going to share nature mysticism through art, because that's what we're doing here, visionary art. And all these people envisioned nature mysticism through their art. So that is the topic for this month, October, when it gets so gorgeous up here in the Hudson Valley. Look at that. Nature mysticism is experiencing the divine within the living world. In the love of nature, the self merges in ecstatic union with the sun, the moon, the forests, the oceans, everything. The dance and flow of the eternal. Embracing the natural world is as sacred, opens us to earth honoring and a spiritual foundation for eco-consciousness. So that's our intention when we use nature mysticism as our theme.
Yeah. Now, this is a beautiful quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson, who wrote a wonderful essay called Nature. And in the woods, we return to reason and faith. Standing on the bare ground, my head bathed in the blithe air and uplifted into infinite spaces, all mean egotism vanishes. I become a transparent eyeball. I am nothing. I see all. The currents of the universal being circulate through me. I am part or particle of God. believe that most of us have taken a hike somewhere, sometime, have had a moment's view that just arrests our heart, and we stop and recover basically what Emerson is saying here, you know. And it's truly where most people say that they recover a sense of spirit is when they're surrounded, like in the woods. I mean, in Japan, they've even given it a kind of a medical name, forest bathing. That's basically taking a walk in the woods, you know, and feeling some bark and looking at the moss and trying to lose your thoughts for a moment and just be in the presence of...
And this is why when we came here, we created a walk in the woods. The Wisdom Trail is something that was a creation of our building team. And if you walk around, you can see these stick sculptures made by wonderful artists. These two were created by Hoodie Salinas, and they endure for a while. This one on the right is Divine Man by John Shook, and there we are.
A wonderful
looking down at
guardian
him.
figure, but also hybrid stick tree humans, you know?
Minerva and Ivy. You go walk through the woods sometime, and you'll find them, and they have endured, and they're by our dear friend
Amy Sen.
Amy Sen.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't have her name on there. We had a sculpture created in the woods, the Straw Earth Art by Andre Amador, and it imitates the mycelium, you know, that grows under the earth and is.
Yeah, that was a beautiful idea. It shows this whole idea of the web of connectedness, you know, the wood wide web.
It's all talking to each other, distributing all sorts of nutrients, and yeah.
Well, you know, one of the recurring motifs of visionary art, actually the earliest kind of archetypes of visionary art are human animal and human plant hybrids. So we had the stick people in the woods there, but here's the so-called lion man that was found 40,000 years ago in a cave in Germany. And then the sorcerer of Troy Frere, we have that the shaman was the one who, you know, took on the different animal powers, and each person could be empowered.
Just a second.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go
thank
ahead.
you. The human animal, I just wanted to, mention the human animal hybrid. That's why it's not just a man. It's a lion man. And the sorcerer of Troy Frere is like a deer. That's a human, up on the legs and feet of a human. So there was some visions going on there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, here we have, let's see, Akhenaten. Akhenaten was like the first sort of pharaoh that believed that that God was one. It was the first
Right.
person, really, that said God is one.
Aton,
Aton.
is this sort of solar disk, but is the one spirit, the creator of all.
Now,
So-
now on the right-hand side, I believe I may have taken that picture because I remember sitting there in a temple in Karnak and noticing that I could speak, hieroglyphics. I could speak Egyptian because there were 2 bees, 2 plants, and the Ankh. And all I had to know was what the Ankh means. Everybody know what the Ankh means? It's life. It means life. It's like to life l'chaim, It's life. That was the symbol for life. And just knowing that one symbol, I knew just what they were talking about. It was like the Egyptians were talking to me. I was floored. It was like with bees and plants, and there's life. So they work together for our good. Now these are the Haida totem poles. The Haida people are British Columbian indigenous people.
Well, here you've got the human-animal hybrid again, kind of the eagle, but then the eagle-human together. And the totem pole often incorporates many different animal and people as well, and the myth, the stories of the people.
And the effigy of a shaman on the left-hand side is from the Haida tribe of British Columbia from the late 1800s, but they go way back. And on the right is a contemporary Haida artist, Bill Reed, and there's a museum dedicated to his work, and he's an amazing painter, printmaker, sculptor of the Haida tribe.
Yeah, if you fly into Vancouver Airport, you'll see massive sculptures by Bill as well.
There he is. The Nevada healing sand paintings. You want to say something about the sand paintings? They heal people.
Yes. Well, these are works of art that into which spirits are invited, and they're organized quite often in relation to the four directions and particular healing beings that are called in for particular ailments. So
tonight, after the ceremony, and after we open the fire circle, we'll also open the sand mandala circle, which Rosie and Mike bring to us as often as they can. And but the people who are being healed by the Navajo often sit in the middle of the sand mandala to be healed. The painting is made for them specifically in their healing, and then the community gathers around for the healing chanting and other ceremonial aspects. And we'll try our own hand as a community to create a group sand mandala. So be part of that. Join in, and you can try sand painting. Now, the enso is a Japanese Zen Buddhist symbol representing. Let me just look at this because I want to just say it all right here. Let's see. The enso is a Japanese Zen Buddhist symbol representing enlightenment, the universe, strength, and elegance, formed by a single fluid brushstroke. An open circle signifies impermanence and the beauty of imperfection. And where the enclosed circle, and they do enclosed circles as well, signifies emptiness and everything. The meditative practice of enso is evidence of the artist's mind and spirit at the moment of creation. In order to do that, you have to, to make a circle like that just automatically takes a great deal of practice and mindfulness. And you can see someone practicing a Tao Tai Chi master, Tai Chi master. I have a friend named Tai Chi, and I've been talking to him today, so I would say Tai Chi. No, a Tai Chi master, and some of us practice. Anybody here practice Tai Chi? Ah, we do have some people. Okay, good. There you go. It's a balance exercise and strength and confidence. And this is the Great Wave by Hokusai, the beautiful vision of nature by the Japanese master from the 36 views of Mount Fuji.
Yeah, Albrecht Dürer, 500 years ago, amazing Renaissance painter, German painter. Here was a great piece of earth, of turf. He brought it into the studio, and some of the greatest botanical illustration. And
actually, 600 years ago. We're in the 21st century now.
Okay.
But anyway, maybe it was. But anyway, he did incredible, portraits and nature. I mean, that rabbit, that hair, that's incredible.
Every hair on the hair.
Every hair on the hair.
Yeah. Well, okay, so.
Even Leonardo.
All right, and who are those other?
Those are from the notebooks of Leonardo, or maybe they're drawn from the notebooks of Leonardo.
What are those other drawings?
Those are drawings from the drawings of Leonardo. They're copies of the drawings of Leonardo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Alchemical art of the Middle Ages.
Well, here's the alchemical tree and the union of the polarities here, male and female, lunar and solar, and the alchemists used all these elements in nature also to speak of the transmutations and transformations that each of us go through in our alchemical process of coming towards spirit. You know, the metaphor is to move a element from its base material, like lead, into gold. So likewise, we metaphorically, as minerals, you know, take our leadenness, our heaviness, you know, and transmute it into spiritual gold. So we find that alchemical process, and life is that process.
I wanted to just say that these notebooks, you know, it's encouragement for people to take their notebooks and go outside and draw a leaf. We're going to do this tomorrow at our church. You know, we're going to encourage everybody that comes to our church tomorrow to bring a leaf or bring an acorn or bring some piece of nature that they'd like to embed or embody, if they want to, because we do draw together in our church, and a lot of people will not only draw from other people's drawings like Leonardo, but they'll also draw from nature, and it's great practice. So here we go. Whoops, no, the other way. There we go.
Well, I love this landscape. It's by Rembrandt, but here it's landscape with a good Samaritan. So the people are very small, but right in the shadow of the tree there in the front, you can see, you know, there's the good Samaritan is going to help someone, you know, who's by the side of the road. So you can see that there's expressed in nature, we've got the storminess, and we've also got a clearing. We've got the darkness and the light.
Arcimboldo is a great, you know, nature mystic, turning people's faces, portraits, or gathering together flowers and fruit and all kinds of things into faces, making, you know, seeing those natural forms in human form. William Blake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
love Blake. One of his earliest visions was of a tree full of angels. And so he's woven together a special kind of mysticism from his embrace of nature.
Caspar David Friedrich, Cross in the Mountain.
Yeah, so he was one of the German romantic landscape painters that kind of set a standard. There's a show, might still be going on now at the Met, of Friedrich's amazing works. But do you have others?
Yes.
Because he united the sense of the sacred and nature. So here the sort of chaostrophe of ice. A sea of ice.
I like the diversity of those two. You know, the forest with the spiritual symbol in it, but also just a sea of ice, chaos, like you say. Hudson River School was the first American school of art, really. It was people who were, you know, the people who lived up here in the Hudson Valley, and they, you know, their families were probably wealthy, and they sent their children to study art in Europe. And they came back with their technique of plein air painting and painting nature. And Thomas Cole, you can visit Thomas Cole's house in Hudson. And this particular painting is of the Connecticut River near Northampton, the Oxbow. This is in the Catskill, Lake with Dead Trees by Thomas Cole. But there's so many, and it's so worth it. We used to take our daughter to visit Thomas Cole's house. I forget what they call it, but it has a name. Anybody know the name? Alana, sorry, thank you very much. I knew somebody here had been there. We used to go like every year. So
That's
beautiful.
Church's house.
That's Church's house. This
Yeah.
is Frederick Edwin Church, and that is Church's house, Alana. And he's Niagara. Anybody been to Niagara? I've been to Niagara.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is the rainy season in the tropics. He went all over the world plein air painting. So he didn't just paint scenes from the Hudson Valley. He painted scenes from a lot of exotic places and brought them back, and people were astonished. You know, they hadn't traveled as much as we've traveled, so they were astonished by the paintings.
Yeah, there wasn't so much photography, you
There
know.
wasn't photography.
We weren't seeing it. So they would bring along one of these landscape painters out on expeditions out west, you know, in order to bring back evidence of what it looked like, you know. And so Albert Bierstadt was one of the favorites that they brought along on these journeys.
Yeah, he traveled out west. He traveled and he saw, you know, California and the Zion, you know, what we call the Zion National Park. But this piece is in the Brooklyn Museum. A lot of these pieces from New York artists who traveled and brought, and people would faint when they saw these. They would put curtains in front of them, and then they part the curtains, and people would, oh my God! And they were vast too. I mean, this one is like 8. Well, let's see, what is it? 11 feet wide. 11.8 feet
Yeah,
wide.
that's the next one.
This one was huge. Oh
yeah.
no, yes, this
This-
is the one that's very, very large.
Right, and they would have audiences like people did for films and things like that. There will be a showing at such and so a time, and you get to come in, sit down, and look at a painting.
There weren't
You know?
any films, okay? No films showing this. It was all like brand new. Well, we all love and know Vincent van Gogh and Starry Night, and this piece is viewable and a friend of yours at the Museum of Modern Art. You can go there and visit this amazingly famous, incredible painting.
It's like probably one of the first and best known works of cosmic art in a way. And this was actually inspired by a scientific illustration that a fellow made of the first whirlpool galaxy, you know? And so Van Gogh had that illustration and is among his effects in a newspaper that had been shown of a recent discovery in the stars. So
He's reflecting on that.
yeah, beautiful.
And of course, just his many, many fields. You can drive for miles past sunflowers and wheat fields, and you know, with cypress. And this is at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. You can visit your friends there.
Well, you can see or feel. I think that the artists give us a sense of what it feels like to be in nature for them. That he felt, and you could see the rhythms, you know.
Every square
all
inch
of
of
his
this
strokes.
painting is activated. Just notice the sky and the, you know, everything's moving. Everything is activated. Well, some of us loved Cecily Mary Barker as children, and I know our daughter had the entire series of books, The Flower Fairies. How many people know The Flower Fairies? We loved The Flower Fairies. And they're so gorgeous and they're so adorable. All different nature spirits. Ernst Haeckel, naturalist, illustrator, and from the turn of the century.
Yeah, just like so many of these little strange creatures that are bubbling up in the Transfiguration painting have reference points in Haeckel's shapes. He was one of the early people to draw diatoms as well.
Louis Sullivan was a New York, well, he did banks and he did all kinds of things, but his New York architecture and Chicago architecture is covered with incredible floral designs. And we wanted to especially show this because we're creating, you know, ornamental sculpture, and that's what he did. And you can still see a Louis Sullivan building here and there. It's quite amazing. He also crossed over into the minimalist architecture, but he started with this sort of maximalist, that's like gorgeousness that he created. The Sagrada Familia in Barcelona. We had the privilege of going there, and it too has activation, like it's like swimming with sculpture all over it. Okay. And many of us are familiar with Claude Monet's water lilies. This is in the Cleveland Art Museum, but they're vast. And he did they're countless. I mean, they really couldn't tell you. I asked, Wiki whether, how many did he do? How many they don't know. It's over 250 water lily paintings that Claude Monet did. This one is at the Museum of Modern Art in New York, and it's the largest, and it is, what does it say? Anybody can read that? I think it's like 16 feet of Monet water lily. What's 42 feet long. Okay, I couldn't really read that from here. But anyway, 42 feet long. It's huge and it's vast. And it's the beginning, it really breaks into abstract expressionism. It was a real kind of connector point from the Impressionists to the abstract expressionists. So it's like very expressionistic. And there he is. I just had to show you. Here he is in his garden in Gaverny in France. He loved flowers. He loved them. He lived among them. Somebody we knew.
I love this guy, Hyman Bloom. He was an artist from New England and lived in Boston, but he did some of the creepiest, most amazing landscapes. It's like definitely you don't want to get lost in a forest like this, But it also looks like the mycelium, like everything's like connected, or like probably like your brain looks actually at high magnification,
And it's really quite a large drawing. I mean, when you think about 45 inches by 68 inches, it's huge. I mean, and it's so detailed. It's amazing. He was an incredible artist. Andrew Wyeth, one of our favorites, really, The Falls of Brandywine, 1943. Watercolor and gouache and tempera. He used egg tempera quite a bit. This is an egg tempera on the panel.
This is like so unusual for him to get such motion into the piece, but I love this painting by Wyeth. And
his Christina's World, which has a person lying in the field. Have you ever seen anybody know what I'm talking about? I say Christina's World. She's sort of lying there in the field, looking up at a farmhouse. So we didn't use it in this show because we were really focusing on nature mysticism only. But that is the most requested painting at the Museum of Modern Art for the longest time. That and
Hide and Seek.
And Hide and Seek,
which I don't think we have.
we don't
here.
have that here because it had a lot of people in it.
That could be in nature mysticism.
It is. We do think of that as nature mysticism, hide and seek. Ask for ask for hide and seek when you go to the MoMA. Where is hide and seek? The more people that ask, they'll bring it out because they used to hide it because it was so associated with the psychedelic community that they put it away. But if you keep asking for it, they take it out once in a while. So it's a really great painting by Pavel Chilachev. But anyway, here's Frida Kahlo, her one nature mystic kind of feature. The love embrace of the universe, the earth, Mexico, myself, Diego, and Senor Zola. Yeah. How do you pronounce that? Shalom. So it's a beautiful painting of nature mysticism. And one of our contemporaries that we'd love to show here, maybe one day we will, is Inka Essenhai, the green goddess. She is a...
Yeah, it looks like the return of Persephone or something, the spirit of spring.
There's this is my favorite artist, actually. My very best favorite artist has done a lot of nature mysticism, has focused, and I dare not put them all in there, but you can see them throughout Entheon. You can walk through Entheon and see many paintings of nature mysticism here. By my favorite artist, Alex Gray. I didn't even put your name on there. Everybody knows it's you. Okay, and this is a painting that we collaborated on, Person Planet. It's downstairs. You can visit it. And Alex asked me to include the radiating secret writing out of the global person.
Yeah, well, it's kind of the divine feminine connected with the earth energies. We think of the mother and the earth as one thing because we're all children of the earth. and to understand that we're one with this web of nature is, I think, one of the foundational understandings that are part of all the great shamanic traditions, and that really are foundational to all wisdom traditions. So, we hope that you'll, take some time to enjoy the grounds of CoSM, to get a sense of the beauty that we're surrounded by, the nature spirits that support all this happening here. It's really a confluence of so many amazing creative energies, and this is the place where we recover our souls, is amongst the woods and the creatures and things, where we can still hear the birds, and we can still watch the rivers flow and things. So do spend some time in nature to, let go, discharge some of the negative energies that are easy to accumulate in the environments that we have to move through today.
If you go to the top of the property on the Wisdom Trail, you will look out on the vast meadow, one of the few remaining vast meadows of this area of this close to Manhattan. And if you go across the road and down 1,500 feet, you can go to the Hudson River and watch the tidal river flow both ways. It goes up past Poughkeepsie, it turns around and comes down. It's a tidal river, so that the native people used to go with the current down to Manhattan and do their trading and come back the same day. They could come back, and it changes directions every 6 hours. So it's a really natural wonder, our Hudson River, and we invite you to enjoy it, because it's a beautiful, beautiful part of New York. We like to end the show with this image of the Chapel of Sacred Mirrors to come. People think that this is the end game. Actually, this is after we finish wrapping the building in sculpture. We are going to build the Chapel of Sacred Mirrors at the top of the property, and we want you to help us vision it into being. One day, hopefully in our lifetime, we will build a place to put the permanent collection and all the sacred mirrors into a smaller building that will allow this building to become fully curated with individual solo shows and group shows, and it'll become a visionary art museum. So that said, come build with us, and there are ways that you can participate. Being here is such an honor. We're so glad that you came. This is one of the ways to make it happen, is to come to events here, or to tune in by Zoom and by YouTube, and we're online. In fact, there are people all over the world looking in on this show. Oh, let's go back. No, don't go back? Okay. Yeah, let's everybody wave to the people out in the world. Hello, everybody. Out in the world, people from Australia, people from Central Europe, people all over the world are checking in. This is my desktop. This is a piece called Harvest. I just wanted you to know what we're looking at here.
So,
what's that? Oh, we're the only one that sees that. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, thank you. Well, who knew? Very good.
All right.
Well, we want to invite to the stage.
yes,
You go ahead.
our good friend, someone who's a respected, really leader and speaker for indigenous rights from really all over the world. And it's Sutton King. She's the co-founder and executive director of the Urban Indigenous
of the Urban
Collective.
Indigenous Collective. Sutton King, yay.
Hello. Poso, Segole, Sutton King, Nak Tau Pinuki, Nukyatun Wahue, Ni'i Wakneta, Nawagi Talota, Onayota Aga Ni'i. Hello, relatives. My English name is Sutton King. My Menominee name is Nak Tau Pianuki. That means comes first woman. I'm Afro-Indigenous. I'm a descendant of both the Menominee and Oneida nations of Wisconsin. But Oneidas are ancestral to New York, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. I am a steward, a co-founder, the executive director of the Urban Indigenous Collective, as shared, and it's such an honor to be here with you all tonight. I want to thank Allyson, I want to thank Alex, I want to thank Johnny, Alexa, the entire team for allowing us to come in and share some of the knowledge that's been passed down. My work really intersects between Indigenous rights, women's rights, mental health. We founded the Urban Indigenous Collective in 2019. We are in what's called Lenape-Hoking. You may know that as New York City. We founded really to make sure that we're advocating for and defending the rights of Indigenous peoples across border, right? So we really support Indigenous peoples from the Americas, the Caribbean, the Pacific Island, but understanding that Indigenous peoples, we live everywhere, right? Is there a, oh, there we go. So, you know, I come to you not only as an advocate and an organizer, but as a granddaughter, right? Carrying stories, responsibilities, and the teachings of my people. Before we begin, though, I really want to take a moment to acknowledge the Wappinger Indian tribe. And it's interesting for me because I actually live across the street from Van Cortlandt Park, which is the third largest park in the Bronx. My windows of my living room actually face this park. And Sachem, Daniel Ninham, is the last Sachem of the Wappinger, and he actually transitioned in the last battle on that land, right? And so, you know, as this light of the moon shines on us, you know, who's always been a teacher to me are people. It's guided the Wappingers, right? It told them when to plant, when to heal, when to rest, when to connect. As we gather beneath her light, she invites us to remember to connect, to listen again to the land and to one another. Now, Wappinger, if you're not familiar, actually means in Algonquin, which is the way in which my people, the Menominee, speak. It means Easterner, right? It means the people of the first light. In 1683, the Indian deed of the state was written, right? It's really important for us to orient ourselves on the land, right? If we honor the land, we must honor the people, honor the history, right? So the Indian deed in 1683 was written, and it sold 85,000 acres of the Wappinger land, which is now known as Dutchess County, for about $1,200 worth of trade of goods. They traded them wampum, which you see here on my wrist. That was the first money of the Haudenosaunee, tobacco, shirts, rum, and beer. The exchange wasn't a fair trade, and here we begin to see land being sold as a commodity and really creating this relationship of product, right? No, this is our relation, right? The land that we steward, we don't own land. That's something that Indigenous peoples have always held since time immemorial. As colonization deepened, the Wappingers actually sought refuge with the Lenape, the Stockbridge, the Haudenosaunee, my people, in which we come from. And what's interesting to me about this, again, I moved to New York almost 15 years ago. I had a dream that I was supposed to come to New York. And I told my mom, I'm going to New York City, and she said, girl, you've never even been to New York City. And it was true. I had never been to New York City, but I knew I needed to return to my homelands, my ancestral lands. So I've always thought, why? Am I connected to this beautiful park across the street? And being able to meet Alex and Allyson. And my mother actually shared the history of the park and of Daniel and Inham. And so every time I look at that park, anytime I walk my dog or walk with my partner, who likes to walk my dog sometimes, and put that tobacco down, to honor Daniel and Inham, right? To honor that soil, what he lost his life for to defend, right? He thought if he went to the British, the British folks out there and said, hey, this was not fair trade, that they would give that land back. And he lost that battle in court, right? So he fought on the side of the patriots, thinking that, well, the Americans, right, the patriots, they will do what's right. And unfortunately, that land was never returned. So I honor him when I look out those windows. I honor him when I walk on that land. But the Haudenosaunee is where those people sought refuge, right? The Haudenosaunee is one of the oldest participatory democracies on earth, right? What we were able to do was bring together 6 warring tribes during colonization and bury our weapons under the great law of peace, right? And you'll see that in our Hiawatha belts there on the right. Also, that is wampum, which shows our stories, our trades. It shows, right, our treaties that were made. So in our teachings, we're reminded that everything moves in cycles, not just seasons, right? In our leadership, in our relationships, in our healing. To live in Haudenosaunee way of life is to walk in right relationship with the land, with the people, right? With all of our relations, seen and unseen. So, have you ever looked closely at a turtle's back? So what I shared to you in Oneida is that I'm people of the Standing Stone. I shared that I am Turtle Clan, which is given from my mother and my grandmother, as we are matrilineal communities. But you'll notice the 13 large scutes or plates on the back of the turtle. Now, in both Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabe teachings, right, we honor this reflection of the 13 grandmother moons, each one representing a full cycle in the year, in the lunar year. And surrounding those, you see 28 smaller plates, right, which forms the edge of the shell. And these represent the 28 days which the moon takes her journey. They're often called the day markings, or they're called the 28 steps within the moon's journey. So together, these 13 moons, these 28 plates, right, form the natural calendar that is on the turtle's back. A living teaching of interconnectedness, right? The importance. It's why we call this place Turtle Island, because she carries us. She carries time, she carries community, all on her back. Now, many people see this moon that has come, let me go back. Sorry. As a harvest moon, right? But our people, the Oneida, we understand this differently, right? Yonte Kewens, Wetne Tar. That's the moon that happens after our harvest moon that happens in September. And it's the moon that's called, it's time to store food for the long winters ahead, right? And so when we look at these different moons, they tell us how to be in relation with the land, with each other, with food, right? And so when we give thanks in that harvest season, right, that last moon, we honor the 3 sisters, right? Corns, beans, and squash. And we know that those sustain us. And in a scientific way, those aminos balance all that you need so that you actually don't even need meat in your diet. Very interesting. But again, it reminds us of the survival, the interconnectedness, the kinship of our food, right? So the moon right now is asking us to not only prepare our food, but our hearts, to gather what we've learned, preserve what nourishes us, and share it so that all can endure the colder seasons ahead. It reminds us that abundance carries responsibility. When we harvest, we must also give thanks, give back, and ensure that no one, not our people, not our land, is left hungry. So I invite you to reflect. What are you storing away this season? What wisdom, what love, what lessons will sustain you through your own winter ahead? Because this moon reminds us we don't survive alone. We survive together. And so, as I arrived tonight and passed through the gates here at the Chapel of Sacred Mirrors, I noticed the eagle and the condor. Carved into the doors, symbols of an ancient prophecy. And if you've heard me speak, it's a prophecy that I speak about time and time again, right? This prophecy tells us of the Americas that have split into two, right? The eagle representing the North, which can be seen as technology, vision, intellect. And the condor that can be seen as the heart, the intuition, the spirit, right? It was said that, beginning in 1492, when the lands split apart, that the eagle people would nearly eradicate the condor people. But in 500 years, which began in 1990, that those two ways of being and knowing could come back together. And what's really important about that is that when North and South come together, it locks the four directions for all of humanity, right? So it's honoring that prophecy and being reminded of the balance, the connection that Indigenous peoples have always had with the land and everything around us, right? And shameless plug, this is the spirit behind our upcoming Indigenous Peoples Day Beyond Borders fundraiser that we'll be hosting at the iconic House of Yes on October 13th. And I'd like to shout out Miss Delilah Ramos, Miss Marianne Almero, two of the Urban Indigenous Collective staffs, our Director of Programs and our Community Wellness Specialists, who join us here this evening and have tirelessly committed their prayers, their dreams, their work ethic to ensuring that Indigenous peoples and what we know as Lenape-Hoking have access to the cultural programs, the culturally tailored mental health services that they deserve to heal. And so yes, it's a party, but it's also a fundraiser supporting Indigenous rights, mental health program, cultural programs, and the next generation of leaders and stewards, right? And so we have a special code for all of you today for a discount, which we can continue to send out. But we love all of our kin, Indigenous, Black, and allied, to join us, to dance, to heal, and to remember that we have always been here. And now I am honored to introduce my partner, my comrade. You may know him as the alchemist. I know him as Josh Elb, founder of Canademics and community partner to the Indigenous Peoples Day Beyond Borders. He has also spent so much time helping us. We don't know much about event production, you guys, okay? But this guy does. But Josh, like mine, his work is about bridging worlds, using music, cannabis, community to create spaces where healing and liberation can meet. So together we're weaving art, sound, ceremony, community, because decolonization isn't just about resistance, right? It's about rhythm, it's about connection, right? It's about joy, it's about the heartbeat beneath the moon. So relatives, thank you for listening. Thank you so much to my elders here, my psychedelic elders that I always dreamed of having. Thank you.
Thank you, Sade.
Good evening, everyone. How we doing today? Good? Great? Give it up for Sun one more time. Now, I first and foremost just want to say that's probably the best introduction I've ever gotten and did not know that was going to happen, okay? And it's absolutely grateful to be here tonight. So my name is Josh Ab. I am Puerto Rican, more considerately Boricán, Taíno, and then on my father's side, I'm Mayan, right? From Guatemala. So that means that I like to walk and talk with my hands, okay? And as today, we sit here in October in the middle of Latin and Hispanic Heritage Month, right? But I really want to focus in on something that Sutton ended with, which is decolonization of that. These terms were given to our brothers and sisters south of the border in order to put a label and remove our indigenous identities, right? And the bigger thing is that for me, right, she spoke about the work in cannabis I do, and I have a couple of my colleagues here today that work with me, Mackenzie being one of them, who is our event coordinator for Canada. Give it up for her, everyone. And then I got my boy Jeff over here who surprised me today over in the corner in the back. He runs back of house for us. Give it up for him as well, okay? And when I founded this organization, Cannademics, it was about bringing together cannabis education, in an academic setting. I'm also a biochemist. I worked with the NIH for years. My mentor is the one who invented CBD for epilepsy in 2007. I've done a lot of biochemical and endocannabinoid research over the years, which also led me to working with government, more specifically this government of New York. And one of the things that we did together was look to help form laws surrounding equity, specifically once it came to legalizing this plant. And one of the questions I asked the Senate, though, when we were, part of the task force doing everything we did in advocacy for the legislative body, I go, what are we doing for tribal communities? Well, they have their own land and their own laws. We kind of can't do anything, Josh. Bullshit. So, and the reason I say that, though, and emphasize that point is because, long behold, we fast forward 2-3 years, and a store called Little Beach Harvest decides to open up over in Shinnecock territory due to our great friend Sinead Bullock and company, right? And it was the first dispensary in New York established on tribal lands. And the bigger thing with that, though, is that, the licensed brands wanted to be able to start to work with them. They wanted to start to sell to them. But there's no system in place because they're not on metric. You get what I'm saying? They're not on BioTrack. They're not in the government checks and balances of compliance, which I had asked about 3 years prior because we knew eventually this was going to happen. And the reason I'm mentioning that is because eventually the OCM, which is the Office of Cannabis Management here in New York, eventually had to, fold its hand, and they allowed brands to start to be sold that you'd find in any dispensary in New York to start to get sold on tribal lands, right? And that should have been something established from the beginning, because as we went around and we have this whole thing about social equity, which is a very nice way of saying reparations, because they don't like that R word in government, okay? They don't want you to have reparations, but social equity, that's okay, right? So, and the reason I say that, though, is because while black and brown individuals are incarcerated at a higher rate than others, right? It's kind of impossible to be brown unless you're red, if that makes sense. You get what I'm laying down here, right? Like, the reason you look different is because you are different. But there was no type of reciprocity. There was nothing that was meant to include of the fixing of communities of indigenous people here in the domestic United States, right? So that was one of my bigger missions, and why I really love what the Urban Indigenous Collective is doing here with this incredible team, is looking to put forth services meant for that, right? What can we do to fix our own communities from within? That's what I saw with this plant. That's what I see with this community. And as we start to get more into the psychedelic realm of things, that is the one thing that I will emphasize the most, is that while we went for reciprocity with black and brown for psychedelics, when we legalize, we need to go reciprocity for red. And that is one of the biggest things that is missing from one of these conversations here, okay? And the last point she made was decolonization, right? Being able to identify. And as Taino people, as Boricán people, we were the first to be colonized, right? And as a result, a lot of that ancestral connection was removed from us to a point where, even my own family was heavily colonized, and they believed that they were something that they weren't at the end of the day, right? And That's kind of also why I'm excited to invite our next guest up here, one of my good friends, Ernesto Borges, the Jaguar activist right here. Everybody's going to be DJing with me later tonight, okay, to talk more about identity, about how do we look at ourselves and how that's a reflection of our ancestors. And just want to say thank you both again so much for having us here today. And I can't wait to go play. They told me my set time was 9:45. I'm playing as soon as we get out of here, okay? So you give me equipment, I'm going, all right? So thank you both so much again.
Oh, you're so awesome.
Ernesto, take this away, brother.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Allyson. Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you so much for having me here. Thank you, Alex, Allyson. Thank you to the whole CoSM family. This is such an honor and it's such a beautiful privilege to be here, honoring the people from this land, honoring the people that is actually taking care of the land and doing and bringing this vision, coming along together, as a community, that we all need that sense of being connected within our hearts. In where I come from, we use a word. People call shamans, people call like the leaders, the chief, and all that. For where I'm come from, which is the Caribbean people, like actually Caquetillos, we come from a river called Orinoquia. So from the Orinoquia, all the stretch of people went into Borinquen, so they're descendants from where I come from. And within that, the word cacique means son, caci. So cacique is the ones who lead from the sun. So a cacique is the one that speaks from creation, from the heart, and then leads a community from creation, from heart, from love, within everything that is around us. So let's be a caciques within helping, storing the lands where we're standing on here, when we are walking in health, beauty, and harmony. We are like Mother Earth taking care of ourselves through us. So finding that way to be in a cacique within our realms, we are our own community and our own leaders. And then when we open the heart to speak from the heart, we have it in all the art forms, explanation, to go into the imagination in a lot of the paintings from Alex, which is heart, creation. You can see in a lot of his painting, like how, like you speak from the soul, the eye of creation is all over his art. And I see it, and I always talk to Alex about it. I was like, wow, I can just keep on going on and on, like within our cosmovision. And then with that cosmovision, Sultan mentioned bringing the prophecy and the eagle and the condor, and I'm a representative from like Chibcha, from the Andes, from my mom, which is the condor people. So I'm a mix in between like Caribbean and a mix in between the Andes. So with that, I want to play my flute, which is an ancestral flute, a Wahhabejana flute that comes from the Andes, the Bilka people, Jopo people, what scientists call 5-MeO-DMT. So which is like, we're like opening to all of these ways of being to share that, please come and talk to us. Tell me, how would you like to be introduced? How do you call the water? How do you call the land? How do you call like your ways of being for us? Because that's important. That's a way of decolonizing. That's a way to transfer and connecting the languages. That's why I'm sharing here what the word cacique is and it means. As I see a lot of people coming from what they call the Amazon, we call it Canaima, we call it Roraima. Those are our words for it. And, finding the way, I was like, what is it called? Why do you guys call that name? We have a waterfall, the tallest waterfall on the land that where in Canaima is. It's actually called Merecupai Pema. And that's our name for it, and, what is being called like angel falls, and it's like finding that way to, reconciliation within our language and then educating people when we go and travel into places. When I've gone in Indonesia, Asia, like a lot of different parts of the world, I like to ask the people, how do you call the water? How do you call the sun? How do you call like the plants? What are the names that you're using? Because they've been there for long enough to know how to speak to earth, So just calling in that And thank you, everybody. Anichibo Naha, which means the heart pathway. And I would like to play my flute for a little bit just to finish. Thank you so much.
I just want to take a minute to acknowledge these friends of ours, including Valentina, who is also with Johnny and Alex and I this past Burning Man. We all share the camp, the Foamy Homie camp together. And Ernesto is the lead designer of the Foamy Homie camp and an incredible inspiration. But you were talking about naming things, and it made me think of wanting to acknowledge our indigenous leader of this area, a Micmac himself, who taught us about the name of the Hudson River before Henry Hudson, which was only Henry Hudson 400 years ago. But before that, it had a different name. And it was, and I may be pronouncing, please forgive me, but what he's taught us was that, and our friend is Evan Pritchard. He's a professor of Native American Studies at Vassar and Pace, and and a real brilliant leader and teacher and an elder. And he taught us that the name was Mohikanituk, which is the great flow that goes both ways. And that's what I was telling you before about the flow of the Hudson River, that every 6 hours. And what's really funny is, like, when we were in the city, we were the same distance from the Hudson River that we are now, 1,500 feet according to the Google map. And you could go down to the end of our street, the pier on 27th Street, and they had a timer and a little bench, and you could see when the river was going to change direction. And so you'd go down there with your lunch or something, and you could sit there and watch the river flow both ways. And this is the way the native people became very successful, because they could take their canoes, which they made from all these tulip trees that are all around us, and they would flow down the river to Manhattan and do their trading and come back within the same day. So I wanted to just, Evan is such a busy person now, going around blessing, and he was the one that inspired us and really stewarded us to build the cairn at the end of the road. The first thing that we built before we started renovating any building on this property, we built a stone cairn had a carved sign made that said Wappinger. And you pronounced it a little differently than we do, than everybody does in this town. But I have to say, we were kind of encouraged to dedicate the place to the native people, the indigenous people that once lived here, and it was a sacred site for them as well, according to Evan. So I really appreciate your bringing that teaching here, And we'll give your love and send that to Evan. I would love to
Thank you,
have us
Sutton.
together someday.
Thank you
That
all.
would be really wonderful. Well, thank you everybody so much for that. Let's give another round of applause to our wonderful friends. And if you ever do go to Burning Man, you have to visit the Foamy Homies, because this is this is such a contribution. It's a wonderful, wonderful camp that we love. And
Well,
yeah.
we have blessings and declarations
Yes,
right now.
now it's time for blessings and declarations.
It's your opportunity to share something. If you feel like getting up and remembering someone or yourself, or declare something that some creative project you want to begin or complete, or something
Or an
like that.
intention that you can pronounce powerfully before your community and friends. Everyone will hold your feet to the fire, and we will definitely, people will all over the world will ask us, how's that chapel project going? The more you share it with people who support you, and they support you, vividly, you can actually see a great deal of progress. So if you have...
about a minute or so,
Just a minute, yeah.
And a blessing, if you like, of any kind. So,
Blessing or declaration. Okay.
Alexa here will. There we go. We got
There's somebody
one.
right there.
Where? What?
Oh,
Right
right
over
there.
Right here. Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody stand up. All right. Don't look at me. Close your eyes. All right. Take 3 breaths in. Imagine this moment a gift of life. And take in the divine energy or whatever you believe in. Stay within and bring in whatever peace you can bring from all over, or even from yourself. Just feel the peace that you have within. Breathe in one more time. Feel the love that you have. Breathe one more time. Feel the being grateful that you're here now. And imagine bringing that out to the whole world in this moment. Gratefulness, being grateful, your love, your peace, your inner peace, your divine peace. Take a deep breath and breathe out that peace and the love. May there be peace in the world, love in the world. Amen.
Oh, Yashikar. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Beautiful. Who has a blessing or a declaration? Oh, Mikey. Dr. Mike.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'd like to do a blessing tonight for my lovely wife, for myself, and for our relationship. The first weekend in October, 40 years ago, was our first date.
Wow.
I can't even imagine back then what it would be like now. I mean, to be here now at this moment in this community, it's a testament to our work together as a couple and work on ourselves to grow into this, type of person and community. What an honor and a gift to be with you all these years. It's like I'm the luckiest person on the world. I really believe. The humor and the passion and the compassion. So my blessing is that, well, actually what I'm asking for is that the universe keep us focused on even making this a deeper relationship and a higher love, and that I declare that I'm going to do all I can to keep that going and to make it as good as possible, so that our individual lights that join into this relationship light can be as strong as ever, so it can spread light for all of you. Aho.
Aho. Yashikar.
Super awesome.
I love you. So on October 10th is our 33rd, I never know these numbers, 33rd anniversary. So I was going to also make a declaration
I beat her to it.
saying that may people who are longing for a relationship, may they find what we have. So that's awesome. Rosie and Mike, everybody. Yay.
Why are you
Wow.
making me
Love you
cry?
guys so much.
So beautiful. Who else has a blessing or a
I
declaration?
see one back there.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
God, that was beautiful. Okay. We're cool. We're cool.
Hello, everyone. My name is Smiley Rojas, Afro-Indigenous, República Dominicana, Haiti, Quisqueya. Before I say anything else, I would love for us to take a breath together. So if it's available to you, gently closing the eyes. And may you inhale and let it go. Again, inhaling, sighing. And one more time, deep, deep, deep inhale. And an audible sigh. God, Source, I pray in this moment, giving thanks for this gathering of so many beautiful souls, so many people who have showed up for the call to be with one another. I pray for each and every one of us, and I also pray for our brothers and sisters who in this moment cannot come together, cannot share their voices, cannot commune with their brothers, their sisters, their family members around the fire, cannot be with those who they love. So I pray for them that they may find peace as they continue on this life journey. And one last thing I would like to share, feeling into the nature mysticism, is a mantra that came to me recently as I walked on the ocean by the beach. It's very simple. I share it with all of you so that you may remember in whatever moment you are to return to gratitude for this life and for this opportunity to breathe. The mantra is very simple. It goes like this. Thank you, God, for this precious gift. Thank you, God, for this precious life. Thank you, God, for this precious gift. Thank you, God, for this precious life. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Beautiful.
We're going to move it on to the World Wide Web with Katie.
Do we have time for another?
We're going to go to Katie.
We're going to go to Katie. We're
Yeah.
going to go to Katie. Katie is the worldwide web of blessings and declarations.
This is the World Wide Web.
Right here.
The beautiful Katie.
She's connected. Okay.
Hi, everybody. Happy full moon. We have many virtual friends watching from far, far away. Canada, Australia, all over the United States and beyond. I'll read two of their intentions tonight. First, we have Blake from Illinois with a declaration. He says, let's just keep it back to basics. Strip away everything and show up as our real selves. Yes, keep it. Right on. Keep it solid. And then we have Wendy with the blessing. She says, may we learn to breathe and let go, not hold on so tight, relax, and just be, to contribute peace, beauty, and light. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Katie. And we also like to thank,
Of course, we like to thank three very cool people in the back, John, Trevor, and TJ. They're our AV audio-visual team. Give them some love.
woo! Thank you. Thank you. And thank you to all CoSM staff who makes this event happen time after time. We're so grateful. But tonight we may be thinking of loved ones, maybe even ourselves, who might be suffering distress in body or mind. Every CoSM full moon, we take a few moments to turn inside and hold in our heart those that might benefit from a healing prayer. To strengthen this blessing, recall the name of your loved one as we pray.
Great Spirit, thank you for blessing us with this day and for our precious body and soul. we feel the light of spirit shining in our hearts. And as we breathe, a glow expands to surround us like a luminous sphere.
The brightness in our hearts magnifies as we join together in a gleaming web with countless others around the world, a luminous net of beings. From the abundance of our combined energy field, we envision rays of healing light surrounding and protecting us, our friends and family.
May the light shine on all who need healing. May spirit renew each soul with creative power to rebuild stronger and weave peace and harmony across the earth. May the water, air, fire, and earth be purified and the web of life be strong and resilient.
And together we say, Amen.
Well, some who are here may be grieving the loss of a family member or a friend. And we send our deep condolences to all who are in mourning, and we acknowledge the sacred space of sorrow and compassion that we carry for all those suffering on our planet. Remembering the brevity of life, we appreciate the beauty of every precious day.
Mighty Spirit, we remember the souls of beloved ones who have passed on. Cherishing them in our heart, they remain close. To evoke their memory, recall their names as we reflect together for a moment in silent prayer, sending a wave of love from our being to theirs. And together we say, may their memory be a blessing. So now we take, with all the breathing we've been doing, we're going to still take a moment to do a regular togetherness. It's a vocalization that we make every full moon, and that is 3 ahs. Now tell us why we just say ah.
Okay, ah is the mantra that our teacher, Namkai Norabu, gave to us to recall our Buddha nature, our true nature, our eternal being. And they gave it a sound, and they call it like the sound of primordial perfection, because they believe that we're actually already enlightened, we're already liberated, but there are obscurations to our understanding this state. And so this is to, in a sense, dispel those, or to affirm your own primordial perfection on the level of body, mind, and spirit. So that's why we say it three.
So together
3 times.
we're gonna sort of vocalize 3 ahs. So here we go.
The Wizard of Oz. Yeah.
I like to say, oh.
Oh, it was awesome. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Well, enough
Come
of
on
that.
up
So now we bring
Alexa.
Alexa back. Let's bring Alexa back up here. everybody.
Alexa.
Okay.
Alexa,
Okay.
glad to have you, darling.
Yo. Well done. Well done. Well done.
You gotta get Valentine.
Well done. Yeah, get over here. We all know what we're doing tonight. We're having fun. We're feeling the love. Thank you all so much for being here. How are we feeling? We're good?
Fabulous.
Alrighty then. Well, I'm gonna just give you a little future news on what's on tap for the night, plus a couple plugs about Cool CoSM is. You're having a good time, I can tell. Great presentation.
It's best night ever.
Best night ever.
Ever.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah. And what's amazing is as our ceremony comes to a close, this is just part one of the adventure because we still have an entirely beautiful celebratory part of the evening. We got a little taste of our boy Josh, a.k.a. The Alchemist, and Ernesto, a.k.a. Jaguartivist. They're going to be holding down the ones and twos tonight, so give it up for them. We're stoked about that. Josh is ready to go, so once this closes and we have y'all do the final benediction, we'll just get the bicycle going. We're gonna start cruising, dude. I'm excited about it. That's gonna happen in the Gray House Library, which is just one of our heart spaces on this beautiful land. We got a lot of great activation zones. That's definitely, I don't know if it's the solar plexus. I don't know, but it's a wheel of energy. Yeah, it's right in there. Yeah. And we will be dancing the night away in the library. We'll have music pumping through the whole house. We have a beautiful bonfire. We got some fire spinners. Give it up for them. Beautiful bonfire. Thanks to our boy Brian James with the bonfire. We also have some beautiful live painting in action. Watch visionary artists bring their creations to life. They're going to be pushing those pigments. Give it up for Ayala. Where's she? Right there. Hello. We got Stephen Lucas Allen. We got Kyra Joy. Where's Kyra? Yes. And we got Todd Sullivan. Where's Todd? Right here. Yeah. We got the, which you mentioned, the community Sam Mandala, which will start around like 9:30. Yeah.
We'll open the fire first, and then we'll open the fire. Come with us.
Yeah, we're gonna do all that goodness. And we also have Dave Makaitis here, who will be offering some astrology readings because what's going on?
Because you gotta.
Dave has some possible answers for you, and he will be doing readings all night long, which you can sign up for in the Gray House shop, which is in the Gray House. Entheon will be open till 11, so definitely check out the galleries if you haven't yet. We also have a cafe, the Mushroom Cafe, which is a beautiful cafe. And what's in that cafe? Obviously, the best food you could ever think of, and baked goods and drinks and snacks. I think this might be the last full moon with the curry before we switch to chili, which is fine because both are delicious, but maybe get that chili before we put it back into the vault until next summer. I'm having such a good time with y'all. This is great. We are going to howl at the moon at the end of the night once our friends here close it out. If at any point you need anything, we got you. Look out for each other. Drink water. We got water stations. Isn't that so sick, dude?
So well, really, actually.
Yeah, we got well water. We got grid, baby.
It's holy water, actually.
Yeah, it's holy water. It's delicious. And look out for each other. If you need anything at all, find someone with a staff badge or one of our event staff. We have a dedicated space for grounding. If you need some support, we have a team here to support you. We want you to have a good time. Communicate with us if you need anything. If I don't have the answer for you, I will point you to somebody who probably has the answer for you. You know what I mean? This is what we do. So please look out for each other. Have a great night. We have tonight's going to be amazing. The full moon weekends are always a beautiful arc. Tomorrow we have yogic self-defense with our head of security, Gu Ruby. And it's unlike anything that I've ever been part of. That's a fact. You do a little bit of movement, but a lot of it is him going deep about self-defense using the mind. And so I love saying, who will you be when you stop being who you thought you were? Ruby will have have you dissect that a little bit in the class. And it's wonderful. It starts at 10 in the art lab. And
You
then
gotta meet Guru B, really.
He'll be
He'll be
around.
around tonight
You'll notice him.
with our gentle giants. They're
Yep.
on our side, don't forget. This is our security guys, and they're
our
on our side.
peacekeepers, you know. We just like to have a good time and keep people safe and sound. You two are gonna do a little art church tomorrow between 3 and
Indeed.
5. Gonna keep cruising with that theme of nature mysticism. They always put together the dopest playlist.
We
So
have a playlist.
inclusive.
We draw together.
Yep.
We draw together, and we make art in a meditative manner. You
Yep.
know, we kind of meditate on art.
Yep.
And for a while, and then we talk to each other about the art that we made, like the experience that we had in meditation while we listening to this wonderful music. So,
Right.
yeah, come be part of our church.
Come join us for that. We have an afternoon book talk with MIT Press published author Graham St. John, who recently released a book called Strange Attractor, The Hallucinatory Life of Terence McKenna. He's going to do an afternoon talk in a couple weeks because next week we got Catherine June. She's going to be teaching a headdress making workshop, and there's still some seats available for that. And you should probably take the class because then you can come to our Halloween party, which is also our full moon party on the Day of the Dead, on the 1st. And then you'll walk up with your dope mask, and I'll be like, come be part of our costume show, and it's going to be amazing. So sign up for Cause class. Come the next week for Strange Attractor book talk. Stay the next day for figure drawing, and then come back again. Well, actually, Amanda's class is sold out, but we have another workshop there. And then we got the full moon. And then y'all are teaching your body and soul drawing intensive. So
Yes, we will.
we got a little bit of everything.
We
for
might have a
everyone.
spot left in the body and soul.
I reckon we have a.
There might
Oh,
be.
it's sold out?
It's sold out.
There's a wait list. Oh,
There's a wait
I mean, I'm
list.
sorry for you, but that's sick.
Listen, our workshops are so superb, and I'm not just talking about Alex and mine. These are such hot shots that come and teach here
Yep.
that you do have to find out about them and sign up for them early, because you know why? The classes are modestly small. Only 30 to 30 people can be in each class because of the size of our art lab and the amount of people that we want to have together. We all want to get to know each other that well. And
Yep.
everybody stays overnight. It's a big pajama party, I'm just telling
Truly.
you. So you want to do this, take a look in the future for the workshops that are, that you would like to do.
Yep.
And be here for a workshop. It's awesome.
Yeah, we're gearing up for 2026. You'll be kicking off the 2026 season with Started Painting in March.
Start of paintings in March. I mean, there's some spots left, but
You
people are
betcha.
already signing up a while already.
That's
so
because we have
come
such
on
a
in.
wonderful workshop coordinator, Genevieve, who's in the crowd tonight. She just keeps us in line.
Genevieve. All right,
And so
Genevieve.
we're stoked
Woo!
about what we got going on next
Yay!
year. And we got payment plans and stuff. So we're really excited to just offer things for this community. And tonight's going to be amazing. Thank you for being here. I'm going to pass it off to you two for the final benediction.
Thank you so much.
And
Alexa,
I'll see
everybody
y'all
give it to
around.
Alexa. Come on.
All right, word.
Give her love. Give her some love.
Alexa.
All right.
Dedication to love. From the core of our hearts, we dedicate ourselves to the complete and full expression of love in all our activities and in all our relationships.
Love is the soul's medicine, a refuge in our hearts, protecting us from utter despair. Finding compassion in the eyes of the beloved and the stranger gives us the courage to endure.
May love sensitize us with care and wisdom. May love help heal the sickness and wounds of life. May love enable us to forgive and accept ourselves.
May love enable us to forgive and accept each other. May love help us overcome our cruelty and bitterness, our greed and jealousy, our ignorance and delusion.
May love rule our hearts and minds, directing us to reach out, doing our best to benefit others, to heal suffering, to give gifts, to create beauty in the infinite network that is our world.
Heart of loving kindness pours creative grace into the world to alleviate pain and mend the heart net. To the healing art of love, we dedicate ourselves.
May any merit generated by this gathering be offered to the benefit and liberation of all beings.
Happy full moon.